Hey guys, welcome back to Fangirl Reacts. My name is Miko, and I'm the fangirl that reacts. If you're new, welcome. This is the place on YouTube where I make reaction videos and other stuff like that. Now today, I'm not reacting to a music video or a book or a movie or anything else like that, okay? Today, I'm reacting to the current political climate of the United States. Some of you may be asking, why? Why, Miko, are you reacting to this? And the answer is, I'm a citizen of this country, and sometimes you just have to get political. I'm going to tell you a couple of things about myself. First thing is that I'm a woman. I was assigned female at birth. I identify as a woman. I have 2 X chromosomes and the ability to bear children. Now, not only am I a woman, but I'm a woman of color. My family are mostly Native American and Spanish, with some other European thrown in there. But so far we've got woman of color. That's not even all though, because I'm also, that's right, a queer woman of color. You could throw in a fourth. You could say I'm a queer disabled woman of color. I don't want to get into that. The thing is, for someone like me, there are some good things happening politically, and there are some not so good things happening politically. One of the good things, the Equality Act that just got passed by the House of Representatives. One of the bad things is these abortion bans that are happening. Now, I want to talk about the good first. We can get back into the bad, but let's focus on this Equality Act, all right? Now, before I get too far into this, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you click that bell notification, you'll get an alert whenever I release new content. I think I might be putting some other kind of political stuff out soon, because I got a lot of feeling, so stay tuned for that. But I digress. What is the Equality Act? Basically, got my notes right here. 3 pages worth of notes. So this Equality Act is basically an anti-discrimination bill that kind of prohibits discrimination based on specifically gender identity and sexual orientation. Now, this bill was just passed the House of Representatives, and if you don't really know how laws come into effect, basically starts in one of the houses, they pass it on to the next one, then it goes to the president. If the president okays it and signs it, the bill's good to go, and it becomes a piece of active legislature. If not, it goes back to whatever house it was in. They vote again. If they get a certain amount, it passes to the next house. If it passes both houses the second time after a veto, it goes into effect. If you want me to break down that process in another video, let me know in the description and I'd be happy to do that. Because it's interesting and it's pretty simple conceptually, but there seem to be a lot of people that don't know how this stuff happens. So if you're interested and you want me to sit down and explain it to you, let me know. When I first heard about this Equality Act, I was kind of confused because I thought there were already anti-discrimination laws in place. And there are. But I guess this Equality Act is going to kind of update federal non-discrimination laws that are already put into effect, like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Fair Housing Act. Now, those 2 things ban discrimination based on sex, race, religion, country of origin, and stuff like that. But this Equality Act extends that to include sexual orientation and gender identity on a federal level. A lot of states already have legislature that that ban discrimination with sexual orientation and gender, but this would be a federal legislature in the same matters. And so this bill, if it was passed, would also kind of extend protection not only in employment and housing, but also education and loan applications and all kinds of other stuff. So the House has passed this Equality Act, which is great. It's good, and if it passes the Senate and makes its way all the way through Congress, A-OK, then the president gets a chance to say yay or nay. If he says yay, yay! It goes into effect. If he says nay, then it goes through the process that I just talked about. But even though this is great, and there are people who may become more protected from all of this, at the same time, there are people right now who are having their rights taken away from them, or just severely limited. Which brings us into the topic of these abortion bans. I've heard of them. I'm sure you've heard of them. Anyone paying attention to US politics right now will have heard of it. And it just kind of sucks. There are 11 states now that are either severely limiting or altogether banning abortion. And I didn't say abortion for women because it's not just women who can get abortions. It's basically anyone, any AFAB person, anyone assigned female at birth. So women, trans men, non-binary people, agender people. Lots of people are struggling with looking at having this right taken away from them. So we know that Alabama, Georgia, and Missouri were some of the first 3 states to do this, but there are 8 others, you guys. This is crazy. And here's the thing about abortion. It's always been kind of a hot topic, right? People get all up in their feelings and they get defensive and they can get confrontational, and sometimes the best thing to do is just mind your own business and do whatever it is you're going to do with your body. But some people don't have that choice anymore. And I would even argue that the real issue here is not abortion. And that's not to say that abortion isn't important and that it's not a big issue, because it is. But I would venture to say that this unrest that's happening is not so much about abortion, it's about just rights in general. This is really about the rights of anyone assigned female at birth with 2X chromosomes, with the primary sex traits of someone who can carry children. This is about one group of people telling a completely different group of people what they can or can't do with their bodies. That's basically what the bigger issue is here. And you can turn it into abortion and abortion rights, or you can look at the bigger picture. So if we stick to these 2 groups of people, which one is mostly, not 100%, but it's mostly older, white, cis, straight men telling the other group of people, any AFAB person, that they don't have the right to get an abortion, that they can't do it. And there are just so many things wrong with that. Oh, and don't even get me started on this whole consensual rape, because that pisses me off and it's not a thing, okay? It's not a thing. The definition of rape literally means that there is no consent. It's not consensual. Consensual rape is not a thing. It's not, what? But I don't want to get too far off the rails. I guess what I'm struggling with personally is why this is even really an issue. Because here's the thing. There are already limits to abortion rights, okay? And I would venture to say that most of the population was okay with those laws because we haven't had an issue with any of this really, at least in this big of a scope, since Roe v. Wade in 1973. We spent all this time just agreeing to disagree on certain things and allowing women to do what they want within constraints of what was originally agreed upon. And so these new limits and bans are just kind of a more extreme version of what's already there, but why does it matter? Here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to get at, all right? This is the point that I'm trying to make this whole thing. No one should be able to tell someone else what they can and can't do with their own body. Period. End of discussion. That should not be allowed. You want to talk about cancel culture? That's canceled right there. I just canceled it. You're welcome. I don't care who you are. You do not have the right to tell me that I have to go through an unwanted pregnancy. You can't do it to me. You can't do it to your mothers or your daughters or your nieces or your nephews or anyone else that you know or don't know. You don't get to do it ever. If you have a penis, you cannot tell me what I'm allowed to do with my vagina. If you have a vagina, you're also not allowed to tell me what I can and can't do with mine. You can choose for yourself. That's fine. As citizens of the United States, we have rights. We know this. And basically, we can do whatever we want, unless it infringes on the rights of other people. For example, if you kill someone, you're infringing on their right of life. That's called murder. It's against the law. If you steal someone, that's infringing on their right to have property, to own something. That's theft. It's also illegal. There are laws in place to protect us. We're allowed to do anything we want that doesn't harm another person or their property. That's the way liberty works. That's the way freedom works. So, keeping that in mind, no one has the right to use force to impose their will on another person. That's illegal. It's corruption. If a government would use force to make their people do something specific, that would be a corrupt government. If an individual forces another individual to do something, that's infringing on that other person's right, and it's illegal. Why, you guys, this is not hard. What I do with my body doesn't affect you. What you do with your body doesn't affect me, unless it infringes on my rights. What I do doesn't affect you if it infringes on your rights. If I chose to go out and get an abortion, it doesn't affect you. I'm not using your body to get an abortion. I'm using my body. If I want to go out and get a tattoo, that doesn't affect you. Unless maybe you're my tattoo artist, but I'm paying you for a service, so that's different. The point I'm getting at is that we are our own human beings, and we should have some compassion for each other. We should be able to empathize and understand, and we don't always have to agree with whatever anyone else thinks. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. It's your right to feel however you feel, to believe in whatever you believe. You can tell me that I'm wrong. That's your right. You can go out and make your own video like this. That's within your rights. But you don't get to come through this screen and tell me that I can't put on a hat in the morning, or cut my hair short, or anything else that's within my rights. It was within a woman's rights to have an abortion, and there are 11 states, as of right now when I'm making this video, that are continuing to restrict or altogether ban a woman's right to have this service. And all of the progress we've made as a country in the last 200 years, it feels like some of that, well, I mean, it doesn't just feel like it, some of that progress is getting retracted. It's getting revoked. It starts with, I mean, it's starting with small things, but who's to say that taking away a woman's right to abortion leads to taking away a woman's right to vote, or to own property, or to go to school? Like, where does this stuff end? We're letting this stuff happen right now. We're letting the government, these institutions, which we give power to, right? Governments don't exist without the people's consent. We are allowing our rights to be taken away. We don't have to do that. We don't. End of story. You get out there and you make your voice heard. You vote for the candidates that you want. You get in contact with your representatives. Make sure that they have you in their mind when they're making laws. This is sometimes it feels like it's hopeless, especially in like rocky political times such as these, but there are still things that you and me and everyday Joe can go out and do. We don't have to take this. We can change it if we want to. So I would challenge you to think about your rights and what you are willing to sacrifice, what you are not willing to sacrifice. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the first step is to figure out what you want and then go out and try and make stuff happen. I just wanted to say that, I'm gonna do whatever I want to my body, and you should be allowed to too. If you liked this weird little rant, let me know by liking this video and subscribing. I kind of want to throw out an idea. There are some other things I want to talk about. I kind of want to continue to go into this Equality Act, and if you're interested, I'd like to maybe talk about how laws get put into motion, kind of what that whole process is. I kind of covered it briefly in this video, but if you want me to go through that, I'm actually thinking about just pulling up the relevant information, because I do happen to have a copy of the Constitution. This little book I bought for $1. I bought it at Dollar Tree my senior year of high school when I had a semester of government. And this little book that cost me $1 has the Constitution with the Bill of Rights. It's got the Declaration of Independence, the Treaty of Paris, the Gettysburg Address, the Star-Spangled Banner, and the rest of that song, Pledge of Allegiance, and the I Have a Dream speech. Guys, these are 7 major documents that, for some reason, people have a hard time understanding. Like, it's not, went out and bought this for $1. I have annotations in it. I'm kind of thinking about just dedicating a section of this YouTube channel to maybe going through everything and translating it into modern English so that people can understand. I don't have a hard time with this. The language doesn't trip me up, but sometimes people have trouble reading documents like this that are older and knowing what they mean and being able to take that into kind of their everyday lives and know what everything means. So if you're interested in any of that, let me know. I think I'm going to do it anyway, even if you don't want to hear it. You just don't have to watch that. So that was it. That's it for me. That's what I wanted to say here, I guess. And yeah, so again, my name is Miko. I'm the fangirl that reacts. Thanks for being here and watching this today. If you made it this far, go down in the comments and say I'm still here. That way I can kind of go through and thank you guys who stuck around for the end of the video. If you want to support this channel in any way, the easiest way for you to do that is to just like and subscribe. If you are subscribing, you might as well click that bell notification too. If you want to support this channel monetarily in any way for any sort of reasons, there are a bunch of links in the description where you can do something like that. I'm not going to throw them all out there because I don't want to be one of those people that's constantly plugging, but they're there if you want to do it. Thank you for being with me today, and I will see you soon with another video. In the meantime, make sure that you brush your teeth and drink water. I don't know, guys. I'll see you soon. Take it easy.